Oh, good afternoon, students. My name is Mr. Ndongo James. I'm here to teach and learn together with you the course on human geography. Under human geography, we are going to start with wildlife and tourism, where we should start by defining the term wildlife. Wildlife, this refers to animals and plants that exist in their natural habitat. This means that wildlife, these are animals and plants that you find in the natural habitats, not those ones that human beings have been able to domesticate in their homes. That is why they are referred as wildlife. The other thing we are going to look into is factors influencing the distribution of wildlife in East Africa. Because we find in East Africa, wildlife, the way it is distributed, it is based or influenced by some factors. First one is that areas with plenty of water accommodate a larger population of aquatic animals. That is true. You find areas where we have large water bodies is where you find we are able to have aquatic animals. For instance, where people do fishing, let's take a case of Lake Victoria. This is a large water body where now the large water body can be able to be inhabited by fish and other aquatic animals so that they can survive and even thrive well. The second one, thick forests that receive high amount of precipitation attract a large population of insects. It is factual that many insects, they are found in areas where we have thick forests. This is evident because you find many insects that you may come across or encounter with. It is mostly when you are in a bushy area or a thick forest. The third one, most carnivorous animals are based in grassland areas. This is why you find that most game parks or game reserves, they are in savanna grasslands. Because you find these animals like lions, leopards, and even hyenas, they are found in grassland areas. The last one, most birds live in places with many trees with well-spread canopies. Because we know birds, they like even creating their nets. They build them on tree branches. That is why you find them in places where we have many trees which have well-spread canopies. The other thing we are going to look into is the game park, the town game park. A game park is a setup that is controlled by central government, such as the Nairobi and Sibiloi game parks. We find that these ones are controlled by the central government. It is not the county government, this is the central government because it is evident that it is owned, or even the people who control it is the central government. The other term we are going to look into is the game reserve. Game reserve, this refers to a setup that is managed by a county government where it is located, such as the Masai Mara. Now we see the difference between game park and a game reserve is that the game park is controlled by the central government, but a game reserve is controlled by the county government where it is located. The other thing we are going to look into, just a minute, and we are going to proceed. The other thing we look into, just a minute, students. We are going to look into sanctuaries. When you hear the term sanctuary, These are areas that are fenced to keep poachers and hunters away from endangered species. For instance, let's take a case of East Africa countries. We have some species of wildlife that no longer exist. That is why many NGOs or non-governmental organizations and even the government itself is taking a keen fortune to try to keep these endangered species in a safer place where no poachers or hunters can be able to reach in order to destroy them. The other thing we look into is the significance of wildlife. The first one, wildlife has led to improvement of infrastructure. Through wildlife, infrastructures of a country, such as the roads, hospitals, schools, they have been improved, and the standard at which they are has been improved because of wildlife. Second one, wildlife has led to conservation of forests. That is very true because most animals or wildlife, they occur in forests or even bushy areas, grasslands. So we must conserve these forests. For example, we have said that most insects and birds, they are found in places where we have plenty of trees. And we know they attract tourists too. So we must conserve these forests. The third one, it has led to production of medicinal plants such as aloe vera. We know aloe vera is used by many people as in the aspect of medication. The fourth one, it has created job opportunities for local people. You know, when we speak of wildlife, we have these wildlife vans. The person who drives the van is a local person. So he has a job has been created for him or her, ensuring that him or her can be able to provide for the family. And this has resulted to raising the standards of living of people. The last one, it earns the country foreign exchange from the tourists. You know, whenever tourists come, there is a fee, which now is referred to as foreign exchange, in which it helps the government in form of revenue so that the government can use it to develop and improve other sectors of the economy. The other thing we are going to look into is problems facing wildlife in East Africa. Pests and diseases attack wildlife community, thus interfering with their productivity and quality. If a pest attracts a wildlife, let's say a tree, lowering the quality will reduce its effectiveness. The other thing is harsh climatic condition may lead to death of wildlife. The third thing, poaching and illegal logging is greater threat to wildlife. The last thing, overpopulation has led to dry condition due to overgrazing. The other thing we are going to look now is the management and conservation of wildlife in East Africa. Veterinary services are provided to treat the animals. Second one, encouragement of domestic tourism by lowering the entry fee into the park and reserves. The last thing, setting up of wildlife protection agencies to protect wildlife on behalf of the future generation. Because we must preserve this wildlife so that the coming generations, even them too, they can enjoy the impact or the gift of nature. The other thing we are going to look into is now the term tourism. Tourism, this refers to an economic activity where people travel to visit places of interest for leisure. This is done mainly for leisure, as in for interest. You want to venture into a place so that you can make it appeal into your eyes, into your senses, for you to have fun. There are two main types of tourism that are namely as domestic. The first one is domestic tourism. Under domestic tourism, this involves the citizens visiting places of interest within their country. Now, this does not involve external people. These are local people visiting places of interest in their own country. The other one we look into is mass tourism. This involves many people from institution boarding a vehicle to a game park. Often, I believe you have come across a game van or a tourism van, maybe on the highway. It usually it accommodates a number of tourists. So now this involves mass tourism. We look into ecotourism. This entails the people visiting the game parks to preserve the integrity as they enjoy the sight viewing. The other thing we look into is the role of ecotourism. One, to make local people appreciate, conserve, and develop areas of interest. The second thing, to reduce human-wildlife conflict. The role of ecotourism. The third one, it helps to care and preserve nature using earnings from tourism. Because when the government earns foreign exchange as revenue, it uses it to improve and develop maybe tourist hotels or infrastructures that, or even roads that heads into game parks and game reserves. That's preserving the nature. The last thing, it helps promote harmonious development of tourism and other economic sectors. Through ecotourism, the government is able to source or to get source of capital into developing other sectors of the economy, because we have many sectors of the economy in our country. The other thing we are going to look into is factors influencing. We are going to look into factors influencing tourism in Kenya. The first factor, Kenya has a variety of tourist attraction destinations, making it viable into attracting tourists. The second one, availability of numerous tourist hotels. We have various hotels that facilitate tourism in Kenya. The third one, a lot of publicity through the Ministry of Tourism and other stakeholders. Often, you find that even in magazines and gazettes, we have even in newspapers, the Ministry of Tourism often advertises and publish about the nature or the aspect of tourism in Kenya. The fourth one, setting up of stiff measures on conserving wildlife. This ensures that there is a sustainable tourism in Kenya. The last one, availability of package tours in the source countries. The other aspect we are going to look into is significance of tourism. The first one, earns the country some substantial amount of revenue. Second one, they promote the craft industry. For instance, we know the story of the Maasai. Mostly they do craft, and we find that they sell to tourists, and this promotes and even develops the craft industry. The third one, it is a source of employment. Tourism has offered employment opportunities to many local people, and this has led to raising the standards of living of the people. The fourth one, it enables people to appreciate wildlife. Last one, they push for improvement of infrastructure through tourism and the money or the revenue the government gets. It is able to improve the quality and even develop the infrastructure of the country, be roads, be railway lines, be hospitals, schools. And the last thing we are going to look in this session, in this class, is problems associated with tourism. The first one, erosion of African culture by aping the foreign culture. Find more so in East African countries, we often erode our culture and we adopt into the culture of the white people. The second one, some students drop out of school in order to serve as tour guides. Many students do drop out of school in order to serve as tour guides, and this limits them from exploring their potential fully. The third one, animals are disturbed by large groups of tourists. Often, we know that even by the large number of tourists, they affect some activities of animals, wild animals. For instance, it is hard to find animals mating in the presence of these large groups of tourists because they need their time to procreate and even to give life into their offspring. The last one, some youths have fallen into traps of using drugs. By the essence of tourism, some use the chance of tourism and touring places to invade in and carry out activities, illegal activities such as selling drugs, using drugs, and this has affected tourism. I beg to stop there. Thank you for the session. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you. Till we meet again. Ensure you stay safe till we meet again. Thank you.